I'm here to discuss the autobiography of Ida B. Wells, uh, a, a book that I had no knowledge of actually until this class, even though we all have heard of Ida B. Wells as African Americans. We, had a working knowledge, I would say, of, of her legacy. But in reading her autobiography, uh, I could say new interest was opened about her story in me, and a new curiosity uh, about her and her writings and her teachings of what it is to be an African American in this country and the struggles that we have faced and still face. The book is written by, I believe, her grandson and edited by Miss Eve Ewing and also forwarded by her great granddaughter, Michelle Duster. Her grandson, I'm sorry, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, her daughter. I don't know why I kept Alfred. I didn't see the A at first. It's Alfreda Duster, her daughter. So it starts in that area, written by her daughter. The context of the book for me, uh, I think, is mostly about her. It's to me, it's written like a journal more than a autobiography. It's more of a journal in that it categorizes every step of her journey from her parents dying from in the epidemic of malaria to her one of her siblings, I believe, also passing from the disease, to her taking on the remainder of her siblings, and on to her uh, finally settling in the Chicago area and marrying her husband, Mr. Barnett. And so, who was also active in the community and active in the advancement of, black people, black Americans. Uh, uh, they were founders of the NAACP, and I think had a little bit of controversy in that vernacular. I think in the book, some of the major uh, descriptions of time and place and circumstances, I think because I had older parents as well who remember when black people were not able to vote. My parents came up in that time, and they left the South because of lynchings and the horrors of the South. My parents left Tennessee and Mississippi and met in Chicago and married in Chicago. So they would tell me stories of different sad things that they witnessed here in the South at that time, the early 19th century. Uh, I'm sorry, the late 19th century, early 20th century, when they came here. The book is organized overall, as I would state, as her testament to what she went through and experienced as a black woman trying to navigate her way in a world that was not just hostile to black women, but to everyone of color. And she fought ferociously for the rights of those of color to see their way through, to have dignity, to have equal rights. And I think what touched me a lot is that we're still doing that fight. We're still right now with the way that things are in this country politically. We are still fighting that fight. It's exhausting. I will say that as a woman of my age, it's like a never-ending sort of battle that we go through, and she understood that. I think that she had hope, great hope, and but she also understood that it was an ongoing battle. Some I can say some of the highlights in the book I would say is when she was done teaching and decided that writing and publishing about current affairs, lynchings, and the African American diaspora, the African American way of life here in America and abroad when she was in England. And I can say that those were highlights for me. I think that it seemed as though Europe was a little more ahead of us in understanding and being more willing to accept people of color in a more equal manner. And I kind of think that she breathed more freely there, and so that to me was was helpful, and it was a highlight in the book. And I think some of the most touching for me again, some of the most touching points was her coming home to six siblings that were now parentless, and her as a young girl having to take on this enormous task of keeping her family together and raising siblings when she had no idea how to do that. I don't think that she understood what she was undertaking, but she was willing to undertake it at any rate. And I I think that some of the shortcomings in the book is that she does not really touch so much on her personal uh, life as far as I could read. I think that she could be perhaps guarded, and maybe that is the way that she had to be. So, she could be, and also the fact that I, I did not care for the way the book ended on such an open or I'm a person that likes things to have a finite, neat sort of either happy ending. But an ambiguous ending is not something that I like, and so maybe that part, the you know, just the fact that it ended so abruptly without some sort of finite resolution. But then that's the way life is. Sometimes it doesn't always have a resolution. So, and I know that her husband was also very active, and her children have continued her legacy, and that is very comforting to know that there are places named for her, and her name will not be forgotten. It will go down and has gone down in Black American history for from now on, for us to go back and to look upon and to be inspired by. And so I think this was a great read for me, and it inspired me to want to read more and experience more of Ida B. Wells, as well as some of our other wonderful, wonderful Black African historians. Thank you for the time.